And Kansas will keep you up to date on everything. Time to go to Auburn.
Welcome to ESPN's Rivalry Week, presented by Remington.
Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn, Alabama, where we expect close to 100,000 rabid fans for the 72nd renewal of one of the great rivalries in all of sports. This is the Iron Bowl, Alabama at Auburn. This year, with no SEC or national title implications, it is still the most important game in the world to these fans. And loyalties divide the state, communities, and even families.
I'm Samantha Thompson, and I'm from Alabama.
And I'm Chuck Thompson, and I'm from Auburn. War Eagle.
Tide.
I'm Brooks Lambert. I'm an Alabama graduate.
I'm Sally Lambert, and I'm an Auburn graduate. We are a house divided.
Samantha, when we were dating, I told you I've been loving Auburn a lot longer than I've been loving you.
In 1948, we renewed the rivalry. You didn't show up.
Pettis takes to the air. He shoots a beauty to Avenger at the 5, who goes on over to score. And Alabama wins this first game in the renewed football rivalry.
Well, what about 1972? Punt, Bama, punt.
Auburn going after it. Here's a good snap. It is blocked. It is blocked. It's caught on the run. It's caught on the run. He's going to score. David Wagner.
1985, the kick, Van Tiffen.
There is the snap, the kick. It is in the air. It has drifted. It's good. Alabama has beaten Auburn.
Last year, 2006, 5 straight.
Cox lobs it up for the end zone for Rodriguez. He goes up. He's got it. Does he have it? Touchdown, Auburn! Auburn Tigers are going to win their 5th in a row.
We are the Lambert family, and we are a house divided.
We are the Thompsons, and it's a Saturday in Dixie.
It's the Auburn Tigers, the Crimson Tide. Round here you gotta choose your side. 'Cause it's War Eagle, fly down the field. Never to conquer, never to yield. It's Rammer, Jammer, Yellow Hammer. Give it hell, Alabama. 'Cause football is on.
College football prime time on ESPN is brought to you by Hampton Hotels. Standing room only at Jordan-Hare for the Iron Bowl. Alabama and Auburn for the 72nd time. Good evening, everybody. Mike Patrick, Todd Blackledge. It's great to have you with us. The people in this state have been talking about this game for 365 days, and the second it's over, they'll be talking about next year. This game in Alabama still means everything.
It's one of the great rivalries in all of college football, and there's a few things that set it apart, Mike. First of all, it's usually close. 16 of the last 19 decided by 10 points or less. The fan bases for these two schools are second to none in terms of passion for their teams. And then the fact that it's an in-state rivalry, familiarity among the players. These guys, some of them played against each other in high school, some played together in all-star games. All of that adds to the intensity of this game.
You played in rivalry games when you were at Penn State against Pittsburgh.
Right.
That was a big one every year. What's the emotion like in these games?
Oh, it's sky high. I mean, you're jacked up before the game. You want that emotion. You want to feed off of it, but you also have to play under control, especially if you're a quarterback in a game like this. Sometimes, quite honestly, the best thing that can happen to you, get hit in the mouth early on, shake it off and say, all right, let's go play football.
Getting hit in the mouth might happen tonight.
Absolutely.
At least a couple of times. Waiting on the teams to come out. Alabama in the midst of a 3-game losing streak, but they can solve everything with a win tonight. That's what their fans will remember under their first-year coach, Nick Saban. They are 6-5 coming in, a disappointment after they got started so well. A lot of people said, hey, Alabama is back, but Nick Saban knew that wasn't correct, that he still had a ways to go. But you know, with all the success he has had, he will make a difference with the Crimson Tide. And here comes Alabama to face a hostile crowd at Jordan-Hare. It's a test of who will come out first. Here comes Auburn. A little gamesmanship before we start. Huge rivalries tonight on ABC, ESPN, and ESPN2. The losers will hang their heads. The winners will celebrate.
The best. Now you're being put to the test. Welcome to the Terror Dome. Now you're on your own. We gon' see who regulates and who gets to celebrate. I just wanna celebrate. I wanna celebrate. I just wanna celebrate.
Taco Bell's Chipotle Grilled Stuffed Burrito, loaded with marinated carne asada steak, Chipotle seasoned rice, all covered in a spicy Southwest Chipotle sauce.
You want like?
Good.
Dude, you gotta try this.
For taste, not fire, think outside the bun.
It's not always just the thought that counts. Give him something he'll really love and want to use every day. The Philips Norelco Architect. Its flexible head removes even the trickiest hairs from his neck. Simplicity is giving him a gift he'll actually use.
Guinness, it's alive inside. Please drink responsibly.
ESPN's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. Philips Norelco. Sense and simplicity. And Guinness Draft. Please drink responsibly.
Of all the great traditions in the South in college football, this is the one that touches me the most. The War Eagle, Nova, flying down on the field here for the Iron Bowl, the 72nd renewal of the series between Alabama and Auburn. 100,000 people in the stands here, millions more watching on television, and a lot of people watching from the 1203rd Engineering Battalion in Balad, Iraq. They are stationed out of Dothan, Alabama. And some are Bama fans and some are Tiger fans. Here's some of the things they'll be seeing tonight in Iraq. We'll take a look at some of the great memories from this storied rivalry. And is the Iron Bowl the best rivalry in college football? Todd will give us his best 5. And, of course, the culinary tour will continue with Todd's Taste of the Town. First question that Nick Saban asked us when we interviewed him on the phone. Todd, where are you eating, buddy?
Yeah.
Did you patent that by any chance?
No, unfortunately, I did not. It might have been a good idea.
Auburn will kick to Alabama. Jonathan Lowe and DJ Hall are deep. Javier Arenas is out with an injury. He's their tremendous kick returner. And here comes Lowe. Up to the 25. Let's check in with Holly.
Guys, you can't believe the emotions down here on the field. It is crazy, and it's been a big emotional lift for Alabama as they got back 5 players who were suspended for 4 games for the improper receipt of textbooks. Now, Coach Nick Saban told me before the game this gives them a huge boost because of the depth issues they've been having due to injury on the offensive line. Marlon Davis, Antoine Caldwell back, and will be a big help. Perhaps most importantly, though, Glenn Coffey to give them depth at tailback because Terry Grant has been so banged up.
And Holly, Coffey is out there right now.
Coffey's going to start out the game. He's a bigger back at 6'2", 197, a little more powerful than Terry Grant or Jonathan Lowe or Roy Upchurch, other backs we might see tonight. Very important for Alabama to run the football with some success tonight.
Out of the eye behind John Parker Wilson. Coffee. Big hole up the middle, and he pounds ahead to the 34 to tell us about that Alabama offense. Here's Alabama grad Brooks Lambert.
For the Alabama offense, starting at quarterback, the Hoover, Alabama native, John Parker Wilson. His favorite target is wide receiver DJ Hall, who owns 7 different records, including career receptions for the Crimson Tide. The offensive line is led by Andre Smith, who's from the Iron City of Birmingham, the place that gave the Iron Bowl its name.
That handoff nearly fumbled, and the strong safety, Zach Etheridge, was at the line of scrimmage and came up and stuffed it.
Oh, right away, a third down situation for John Parker Wilson and the Alabama offense. This has been a sore spot for them this year. When they've won games, they've been effective on third down. When they've lost games, in their 5 losses, only 29% conversion rate.
They'll empty the backfield as Coffee goes out as a wide receiver. Auburn looked a little confused on defense. They come with a 4-man rush, and they knock it down. Eric Brock to tell us about the Auburn defense. Here's Brooks' wife, Sally.
For the Auburn defense, on the defensive line, sophomore Antonio Coleman leads the team with 7 sacks. At linebacker, the playmaker Trey Blackman is also a sophomore. And senior Patrick Lee leads a secondary that has 11 interceptions in the last 8 games.
And the 11th ranked defense in the country, which Auburn is this week, forces a 3-and-out. The punt to Dunn.
Very short.
He makes a fair catch up near the 35-yard line. 43-yard kick, no return. Good job by Auburn in the opening series.
One of the things we're going to see from Auburn tonight, a lot of movement and shifts. They had an extra week. Very unusual to have an open week before this Alabama game. But that extra time, and plus their familiarity with Nick Saban's defense, a lot of shifting in motion, particularly with their tight ends, trying to confuse the Alabama defense. Here's one right away.
You saw Tommy Tuberville with that tremendous record against Alabama, 6-2. Immediately, Brad Lester gets some running room off the right side. To tell us about the Tiger offense, here's Auburn fan Chuck Thompson.
At quarterback for the mighty Auburn Tigers is Brandon Cox, the left-hander from Trussville, Alabama. He'll be handing the ball off to Brad Lester, who averages a touchdown every 14 carries. The offensive line is young with 3 true freshmen starting: Chaz Ramsey, Lee Zimba, and Ryan Pugh.
Rashad Jackson is the injured Alabama player. He's been down on a knee and hasn't been able to get up on his own since the end of the play.
And he's their leading tackler with 76 tackles coming into the game. Has had an outstanding season. Also leads the team with 6 interceptions. So good to see him back up off the ground.
And that's 6 interceptions, is tied for 4th in the country. So he is huge for their defense in terms of turnovers.
Rod Smith came in and just cocked. And there it is, that early hit in the mouth, you know. Welcome to the Iron Bowl. That's what it is right there. Rashad Johnson getting checked out. Probably see him back very soon.
Got decleated. Cox changing the play. Lester wants the new play and the snap count. And he'll get it. Same play, better result. He's up to the 48-yard line. Here's the Crimson Tide defense. Chuck's wife, Samantha, does the honor.
The Alabama defensive line is anchored by Wallace Gilberry. The senior leads the Tide with 9 sacks this season. For the linebackers, senior Darren Mustin had a career-high 14 tackles last week. And senior cornerback Simeon Castile is from Birmingham and playing in his 47th career game. Roll Tide, roll!
They did a very good job with that, didn't they?
They did.
Cox out in the flat, Mario Fannin. This is what makes Auburn so effective, Todd. You pointed it out early in the season. If they can run just enough, then the play action works.
Well, it helps everything. When you run the football effectively, it really helps your pass protection. And then it really helps Brandon Cox because the strength of his game as a quarterback is play action pass. He's a very good ball handler. He's a good, accurate, medium range thrower. And all that works well when you're running the football with some success.
Overall, Auburn isn't even in the top 100 in offense this year. It has been basically a run-oriented offense and a solid defense that's helped them to a 7-4 record. And this time, no dice, and that's down. Brad Lester was spun to the ground by Mustin, who just about spiked him.
Darren Mustin, as we heard in the lineups, a career-high 14 tackles last week in that frustrating loss to Louisiana Monroe, but he has really played well all season. Just a real success story, a guy who was kind of a walk-on guy who kept working and has been one of the real leaders on this Alabama defense this season.
Transferred from Middle Tennessee State and walked on, paid his own way to play football in Alabama. Cox, another good play fake. Has a man wide open, but throws it to the point when Cole Bennett makes the catch and has to go to a knee.
And Alabama was pretty lucky that time that he did slip down to the knee because he had some room in front of him. The misdirection on the bootleg, second time Brandon Cox has had somebody open off of that misdirection. Again, you run the football with some success. Linebackers watch that run, and then tight ends come out the backside on the bootleg.
It'll still be 3rd and long. Auburn in its opening possession. Doing some motion, something they haven't shown a lot this year, trying to cross up the Alabama defense. Cox straight back, plenty of time, unloads, and that's going to be oh so close to a first down. Look at the spot. They need to reach the 29-yard line. Looks like they're going to give them the 29.5. McClain and Mustin, the linebackers, made the tackle. Well, this is either go for it territory or long field goal.
Yeah. Wes Byram's long this season, 49 yards. I think at home you go for it here. I think, yeah, I do. Your defense has been outstanding for the most part.
Length of a football, they say. No sign of the punt team.
The problem sometimes with a long field goal like this, the opportunity to get a block increases the longer the field goal attempt is. I think this is a safer call for Tommy Tuberville right here, quite honestly.
Hollywood also tells us it is very windy on the field. We can see the streamers on top of the uprights have the wind at Auburn's back. And Casey Cox, the quarterback keeper, no problem.
Yeah, right behind his leader, the center, Jason Bosley, the leader of this very young Auburn offensive line. He's a junior, but there are 3 true freshmen starting on that offensive line. Now, at this point in the season, they're not freshmen anymore because they've been playing almost the whole year, and they've played very well. But Jason Bosley is kind of the glue that holds that offensive line together, and Cox ran right over his backside that time for the first down.
Bosley said, in this state, you are remembered for what you do in the Iron Bowl. That's it. Lester. Nice cut. Castile has him around the ankles, but can't stop him until he picks up nearly 9 yards. Tyrone Green with a good block. Andrew McCain with a good block on the pull.
Nice job by Lester reading the holes. Good blocking by the wide receivers for Auburn. They're bringing them back inside against the linebackers, working downfield, and Lester, probably the most explosive of the Auburn trio of tailbacks that we'll see tonight.
Now Alabama temporarily at least losing another defender, Ezekiel Knight, the strong side linebacker, limping off. One thing about Lester, he missed the first half of the season. He was an academic suspension. Finally got that in order, and he has been a big part of this offense. Who knows what they might have been able to do had he been able to play the entire year. Ben Tate is in as the new running back. And Tate will get a carry. Hit in the backfield. Spins off a tackle. Mustin had him in the backfield. Couldn't control him. Let's take a look at tonight's X Factor presented by Dell.
Well, in this ball game for Alabama, I think they need to win the running game. And right now Auburn is holding that edge. But the winner of this game the last 8 times has rushed for the most yards. For Auburn, they must win turnovers. When they have lost games this year, they have been horrible in the turnover margin. When they win games, they take care of the football. It's a very simple formula for the Auburn Tigers.
Tate now left alone. 7 yards behind center is the tailback, and he'll get the toss. They like something on the right side. They've run there frequently. And Todd, you mentioned this is such a physical game every year between these two teams. It'll be the most physical game they play. So if you win the running game, that falls right in line.
Yeah, and one of the reasons Auburn is having success early on running it is because they're doing a lot of this shifts of the tight end and motion. Why are they doing that? It's something they've done in the past, but not as much this year. It's because with Will Muschamp being the defensive coordinator who used to be with Nick Saban, they've been able to lean on him and understand Alabama's defense. And Alabama's defense is predicated on where the tight end lines up. That's how they set their defense and set all their checks on the defensive side. Therefore, more motion tonight.
Cox draw play to Tate inside the 5. Dragging tacklers with him. Tate still on his feet. That'll be 1st and goal, Tigers.
Tate comes in a little bigger back, 215 pounds, files a nice block by Tommy Trott, who lined up in the backfield, number 5. And right now, Auburn just overpowering the Alabama defense on this opening drive. Again, they had a week off. Alabama played last week.
11 plays, 63 yards on the drive. Tate again, 1st and goal, lowers his shoulder to the goal line. Touchdown, Auburn. A little distraction at 4 a.m. in Iraq for the Auburn fans. And that was a 12-play, 66-yard drive, and they basically shoved it right down their throat.
Yeah, I think they threw 3 times, maybe a couple bootlegs, and the one pass to the tight end that got him close to the 1st down.
West Byram for the point after. And Auburn at home in front of 100,000 is on top 7-0 first quarter.
Nothing says happy holidays quite like the word duh. As in, it's obvious. Like getting a great deal on a great car. Happy holiday.
Get $500 HMFC bonus cash and 0% APR for 72 months on a 2008 Hyundai Sonata.
This is the story of giving my mom what she really wants for the holidays. I don't know if she was more surprised at what I got.
Let me look at you.
Or how good I looked in it. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't go with that crystal turtle.
Whatever your story is, your Citi card can help you write it. Citi, let's get it done.
It's invisible. You can't see it. You can't touch it. But every day it touches the whole world. Energy. And every day, even though you don't see our name or logo, the energy we create is right there. In innovative ways, helping 2/3 of the Fortune 100 and businesses across North America make your world work better. Constellation Energy. Taking energy a step further.
Communicate in less than a second with Nextel Direct Connect.
Nice work.
The largest and fastest push-to-talk network on the planet. That's getting it done at Sprint speed. Visit sprint.com/Nextel.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is available on ESPN HD, presented by Pioneer Kuro HD TV. Auburn has now scored touchdowns in 6 of its last 8 opening drives. That one went 65 yards in 12 plays. Took almost 5.5 minutes off the clock. Lowe and DJ Hall are again deep to receive. Byram to kick for Auburn. Lowe from the 1. Swallowed up shy of the 20. Time now for tonight's rivalry notebook presented by Sonic. This is the 76th game in this series. Unbelievably, almost, they didn't play from 1908 to 1947, basically because of an issue about per diem.
Yeah.
One school wanted $3.50 a day. The other one wanted $3 a day. They had a problem with an official, and they didn't play for 41 years, over 50 cents a player. Are you kidding?
It's the Iron Bowl, man.
It's the Cheapskate Bowl for 41 years. How does Alabama respond? They want to grind out a few first downs themselves.
Well, they respond, first of all, with a 5-yard penalty because they were not set in a proper formation. And they'll back them up 5.
Let's go to Holly Rowe.
Well, Todd, you were talking about that extra movement that Auburn is using on their offensive line. Well, Nick Saban just addressed his defense. He told them, look, guys, only 2 guys shifted. He is known for his very complicated system, but right now he's pointing out to his players that it doesn't have to be that complicated. He's trying to make sure that this motion is not confusing his defense. Guys, he went over at length just trying to simplify what they're seeing, and he said, hey, even if this guy's moving, we shouldn't be down in there. He really wants them to pay better attention and not overthink it.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, Holly, because the point is, too, you expect to see something new, a new wrinkle early in the game. Well, now they've seen it, and the next time they come on the field, they should be much more comfortable with what they're doing.
2nd and 8, John Parker Wilson to the shotgun. Wilson on the keeper.
Boy, nice play.
It was out to the 29-yard line.
That's the little zone read. You know, you haven't seen Alabama run this play. Ironically, Nick Saban told me on the field before the game, this is what Louisiana Monroe did to him, and they had a hard time stopping that offense. That little quarterback run out of the shotgun. Alabama tried to line up and go no huddle, and the officials called a timeout, I think, to measure.
It's been since 1997 that Auburn has scored in the first quarter, or Alabama scored in the first quarter against Auburn, which is not good.
You know, the thing about that Auburn scoring drive, too, I mean, you talk about the turnaround that Auburn has had this season offensively. In the first 4 games, they had 1 scoring drive of at least 10 plays. Well, now that was their 14th scoring drive of 8 plays or more, or of 10 plays or more in the last 8 games. So, I mean, the first 4 games, they couldn't sustain the football.
Yeah.
They were terrible on 3rd down. They couldn't protect the football. And ever since then, they really have played pretty well offensively. They had some problems against Georgia in their last game, turning it over 4 Brandon Cox interceptions, but they have moved the football extremely well.
Out of the eye this time with 2 wide receivers. Wilson under pressure and throws incomplete, intended for Travis McCall, the tight end, and Derek Marks had a beat on him and really gave him a shot.
Yeah, hit him right in the jaw and also knocked his hand warmer right off his waist. So those are the kind of shots that you remember. John Parker Wilson trying to set. He just ran right around Caldwell. Now again, Antoine Caldwell, number 59, is playing right tackle. He started the season as the starting center, and he's one of those 5 guys that's been suspended for 4 games. That time he didn't play very well against Derek Marks.
He was on the Remington preseason list as the best center in the country. They moved him to tackle because they felt they really needed him out there. And Coffey grinds out a couple of yards before Chris Evans, the leading tackler on this team, made the stop.
And that's a big difference. I mean, they made the move because they feel this gives them their best 5 guys up front. But when you're a center, you're used to having guys
on both shoulders. You're used to having help all the time in there. When you're a tackle, you're out on the edge. And if you're going against a good pass rusher who knows it's a passing situation, that's a whole different deal than a guy who's played center.
3rd and long. They stack wide receivers to the far side, and that's split backs. Blitz coming. And they got there. They got there as a group. Pat Sims led the way. That is his 3rd sack of the season, and a great time for Auburn.
And this time it's Pat Sims who's playing over the center, Evan Cardwell, who just blows right in there and gets the sack. 95 Sims just whips the center and comes right up the middle at the quarterback, and Marks is there to finish him off. But it was the pressure initially from Pat Sims that caused the problem.
P.J. Fitzgerald will punt. And Dunn, number 3, drops back to his 37-yard line. Nice high kick, and a fair catch made at the 40. 37-yard kick, no return. It's Auburn on top of arch rival Alabama.
We love having you here.
Nothing says happy holidays quite like the word duh. As in, it's obvious. Like getting a great deal on a great car. Happy holiday.
Get $500 HMFC bonus cash and 0% APR for 72 months on a 2008 Hyundai Sonata.
Hearty taste, naturally nutritious. Planters, instinctively good.
Bring your favorite team home with Glidden Team Colors Paint, the true colors of true fans. Team Colors Paint, exclusively from Glidden and only at the Home Depot.
ESPN, your NBA destination for games Wednesdays and Fridays all season long.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Hampton Hotels. At Hampton, we love having you here. And in part by Hyundai Big Duh Holiday Sales Event. The same great cars and great deals.
Welcome back to Jordan-Hare Stadium. Our aerial coverage for tonight's game, courtesy of the Outback Steakhouse Airship. Bloomin' Onion One, specializing in sports coverage all year. Look for the Bloomin' Onion One at sporting events all over the country. Auburn has controlled both sides of the ball so far.
And they look like the more confident team, and they look like the fresher team. I mean, they look quicker and more sharp than Alabama in the early going here.
Cox rifles that one down the middle, and it's caught by Smith. Rodriguez Smith with a 32-yard gain. Lionel Mitchell made the tackle. And Cox got that ball there just in time.
First time they've thrown the ball down the field. They go off play action. He sets, he throws on time. Rashad Johnson, the safety, in position just a little late trying to make the play. And Rod Smith, their go-to guy, makes a big play down the seam of the defense. Every other throw to this point has been short. That one right down the heart of the defense. They just brought the safety up right here, and that's why Brandon Cox is changing the play.
Lester straight up the middle. Still driving down to the 22-yard line. Let's check in with Reese Davis. A 30 at 30 update.
All right, Mike, coaching carousel is spinning at full tilt. Nebraska says enough with Bill Callahan. They sent him on his way. A 15-minute meeting with Tom Osborne's all that took. And Ole Miss, they've also had enough of Coach O after he went 0 for the SEC this year. Tennessee going to the SEC championship game. Took them 4 overtimes to beat Kentucky. They survived 52-50. Sports Center after the game. Stay current with ESPN News.
All right, Reese, thanks very much. Auburn, 2nd and 5, driving again against Alabama. Lester near the 20. Todd, funny, nothing on Houston Nutt as yet, and all the rumors said he would be gone as of last night, but they didn't figure on him beating Alabama or beating LSU, did they?
No, they didn't figure on him beating the #1 team in the country, and they didn't figure on them finishing 8-4 and probably going to the Cotton Bowl. I'd say there's a great chance that's where Arkansas ends up in Frank Broyles' last year as athletic director. So very interesting to see what happens over in Fayetteville.
Third down, about 3. Cox, good protection. Throws. That ball was nearly picked off by Castile.
Simeon Castillo is one of those corners who just has great ball instincts. He makes big plays. He's a guy who gets picks. He forces fumbles. He strips balls because he's a football player who has great instincts. Of course, his father, Jeremiah, was an All-American cornerback for Bear Bryant at Alabama. Great player for the Broncos. And he has those same kind of instincts around the ball.
That'll bring on Wes Bynum for the field goal try at 37 yards. And Bynum drills it through. 16 out of 20 this year for the hero of the Florida game. Excuse me, Wes Byron. My apologies. The rivalry week coming to an end. What's the best rivalry? We'll have Todd's top 5 when we come back.
There are some crazy blades out there, so reach for the ultimate balm. Replenishing aftershave balm with Care Protect soothes and repairs the damage from shaving. Only from Nivea for Men.
Find the perfect gift. Shop Zales Diamond Jewelry. Now through Sunday, save an extra $200 on this 1-carat diamond ring. Now just $7.99 at Zales, the diamond store.
Monday, the Dolphins head to Steeltown as Big Ben, Willie Parker, and the intimidating Steelers D look to iron out a victory. ESPN Monday Night Football. Dolphins Steelers at 8:30.
The Big Ten ACC Challenge. Tuesday, Duke battles Wisconsin, and Wednesday, UNC takes on Ohio State. Every game factors in. ESPN, the bracket beyond the bracket.
The Shell experts wanted to prove how easy it is to earn Shell gasoline rebates with the Shell Platinum MasterCard. It's pretty easy. With the new Shell Platinum MasterCard, you earn 5% rebates on all Shell gasoline purchases. Plus, now earn 5% rebates for 60 days on your first $2,000 in purchases everywhere else. Apply by December 31st, 2007. See your nearest Shell station or call 1-877-MY-SHELL.
This holiday season, I wish someone would get me this awesome Dell XPS notebook with Windows Vista Ultimate for my photos, music. It's got...
Excuse me, I can't hear you because you're not famous. You need star power.
At yoursishere.com, our stars are waiting to sell your friends and family on getting you the Dell computer you've been wishing for.
If you're a nobody, get us somebody to help you get the Dell computer you want at yoursishere.com.
ESPN salutes the Southeastern Conference. 75 years of excellence in collegiate athletics.
Boy, it's been a banner year for the SEC as well. 10 teams are eligible from this conference to go to bowl games. There are 8 automatic tie-ins So somebody might end up being left out in the cold even though they are bowl eligible. Just being eligible doesn't mean you'll get a bowl. I hope Mississippi State gets a good bowl. Sylvester Croom has done a wonderful job down there.
Well, he beat both of these teams, Auburn and Alabama.
Amazing,
that's quite a feat for anybody in the SEC West.
Yep. Jonathan Lowe got a seam. Lowe up to the 47-yard line.
Well, that's what Alabama needed, too, because one area that's been a real Achilles heel for Auburn this year, as good as their defense have been, their kickoff coverage has not been very good. And even though they don't have Arenas in the game, Jonathan Lowe makes up for it. Hits a good seam, good blocking at the point of attack for Auburn. Key block in there by Travis McCall, number 83, a backup tight end. And Alabama with excellent field position.
Gerard Powers with the solid tackle at the end of it to save a further advance. Coffey remains as the running back.
Trying to get DJ Hall.
DJ Hall involved in the offense. Hall's been a tremendous receiver, but they haven't thrown the ball that well, so any opportunity to get DJ Hall the ball is a good one.
Well, you want to get him involved early because he is definitely a difference maker on your football team. He was suspended for the first half of the game last week against Louisiana Monroe, played in the second half, but he has had a monster season, 60 catches and 6 touchdowns.
Blitz coming, flags are down. Well, the Alabama fans would argue that nobody for Alabama played in the second half last week. And it looked like it was Cardwell who moved early.
Prior to the snap, false start, 78. Offense, 5-yard penalty, remain second down.
And to say Mike Johnson 78 instead of Cardwell 70.
Those are costly penalties, too. You have second and short. You've got a lot of options, and now you're back at 2nd and 8. You just can't afford, when you're on a 3-game losing streak, even though you've not been penalized very much, can't afford those tonight.
Coffey got a good block, but that was a solid defensive play by Antonio Coleman, who's been a real find for them. Let's go to Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, this offensive line for Alabama is very different than what we saw early in the year against Arkansas and Georgia. They are discombobulated. They're just not firing on all cylinders and playing as a unit. Andre Smith, the left tackle, is the only guy who has started at the same position every game this year. And poor Antoine Caldwell, he's started at 4 different positions now. Guys, they just don't have that continuity that you like to see on an offensive line right now.
Yeah, Caldwell looks different to me at right tackle. He looks like he is not sure where he's supposed to go.
3rd and 3, pressure coming. And the pass is overthrown, intended for Hall. Flag is down. Wilhite had the coverage, and Wilhite upset because he thinks they're going to call interference on him. And they are.
Well, there was definitely pushing and shoving, and DJ Hall is probably going to get the benefit of that. It was a catchable pass, but kind of an iffy call.
I mean, it looked like he gave as much as he got.
It's one of those Michael Jordan rule type deals,
sir.
you know?
Yes, sir.
The all-star, the all-conference player gets the call. What a benefit for Alabama, though.
Wilhite certainly got the worst of that. Be a first down at the 31. Coffey, nice move. And Coffey's down to the 24-yard line, gain of 7 before middle linebacker Coy Blackman can bring him down.
I think for Alabama, the best place to run the football is going to be to that left side behind big Andre Smith. As Holly said, he's the only guy who started every game at the same position, and he is their best offensive lineman. He's just a sophomore, but at 6'5", 340 pounds, very athletic, very light on his feet. And Marlon Davis, the left guard, had been a starter at that position before he was suspended.
Coffey. And certainly he is appears that he's going to get the bulk of the carries. And although he doesn't look a lot bigger than the other guys in the backfield, he certainly seems to run bigger.
Yeah, he does. He runs with his pad level a little bit lower, initiates a little more contact. And that's what you need in a game like this, because this is a physical football game. And the better that Alabama can run, the better their pass protection will be for John Parker Wilson. You know, I was here. This is my 4th Iron Bowl that I've broadcasted, and I was here 2 years ago when Brody Croyle was the quarterback for Alabama, and Auburn sacked him a school record 11 times. And part of that is when you shut down a team's running game, you can really pin your ears back and go after the quarterback. And that's what Auburn has been able to do to Alabama the last couple years in this rivalry. It's Will Muschamp, the defensive coordinator, 2nd year here at Auburn. He was with Nick Saban at LSU, and then also for the 1 year with the Dolphins in 2005. Very familiar with Nick's system, but also very appreciative of what Nick has done and meant to him in his career. Said he wouldn't be where he is today without Nick Saban.
First down from the 21 out of the eye. Auburn showing blitz. Got an 8-man front, and when they came up to show that 8-man front, somebody on the Alabama line moved.
Yeah, and they just got to hold their water. I mean, that was a late shift by Auburn. You got to hold in there.
False start, 76. First down.
It's Marlon Davis, the right guard. Of course, they have switched so many guys along the offensive line, and you want guys who can play different spots. But I agree with your analysis. You move a guy from center to tackle, that's a huge difference.
That's a big change. Even though he's athletic enough to play out there, it's different.
Wilson, good protection. Throws underneath, and Coffee will only get a couple of yards out of this. And that is going to be the last play of the first quarter. Well, they've enjoyed it so far. The Auburn fans seeing their club up 10-0.
Rose Bowl game presented by Citi. New Year's Day at 4:30 Eastern on ABC.
Nothing says happy holidays quite like the word duh. As in, it's obvious. Like getting a great deal on a great car. Happy holiday.
Get $500 HMFC bonus cash and 0% APR for 72 months on a 2008 Hyundai Sonata.
Tommy. Marco. Love the jacket. Do you? Yes. $90. What? Ooh, nice tie. Thanks. $12.
Double cheeseburger. $1.
The McDonald's Double Cheeseburger, one of the extravagant choices on the dollar menu. Are you a dollar millionaire?
Oh, game day.
Yeah, lucky breakfast. Bergwood! Your new car's rolling.
It's not stolen. I just bought it.
It's gonna hit that truck.
There's no need to swear.
Oh.
Hot car, huh?
It's on fire.
Do you have new car replacement? Call Allstate to sign up today. Are you in good hands?
Hearty taste, naturally nutritious. Planters, instinctively good.
This holiday season, I wish someone would get me this awesome Dell XPS notebook with Windows Vista Ultimate for my photos, music. It's got...
Excuse me, I can't hear you because you're not famous. You need star power.
At yoursishere.com, our stars are waiting to sell your friends and family on getting you the Dell computer you've been wishing for.
If you're a nobody, get us somebody to help you get the Dell computer you want at yoursishere.com.
Welcome back to ESPN's College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. 100,000 watching here. They're also watching in Iraq, the 1203rd Engineering Battalion in Balad. Their home base is Dothan, Alabama. You all stay safe over there, all right? Hope you enjoy the ball game. John Parker Wilson out of the shotgun. Coffee on the delay. Nowhere to go, down to the 20.
Why is it so important that Alabama can run the football? I'll tell you why. Because Auburn loves to play a defense where they're going to show a cover 2 shell defense all the time with 2 safeties. And as long as they can continue to do that and keep 2 safeties deep, then that is going to allow them to play combination coverages on the passing game of Alabama. They must force one of these 2 safeties right here or right here to come up and play closer to the line of scrimmage. Now, they're not on this 3rd and 8, but on rundowns, they've got to get them up closer.
Empty backfield. Blitz coming. John Parker Wilson runs away from pressure. Lost the ball. No official signal as yet. John Parker Wilson was the first guy who had a shot at it after Pat Sims had a shot at him.
And last year in the ballgame in Tuscaloosa, it was 2 fumbles by John Parker Wilson caused by Quentin Groves on sacks that led to 2 early touchdowns for Auburn. This time Sims chasing the play from behind. Great hustle play by Sims. Knocked the ball loose, but Alabama not only gets it back, they get a first down out of it.
And the fumble resulted in a first down. He was at least a yard shy of the necessary distance.
There's those 2 safeties again for Auburn. You got to get one up around the line of scrimmage.
Coffee. And one of the safeties came up and made that tackle. Let's go to Reese.
All right, Mike, the showdown in Kansas City, Missouri, and Kansas Taco Bell studio update checking in on this Big 12 North battle. Look at Chase Daniel buying some time. Tony Temple stretching on 3rd and goal, but he stopped short. And on 4th and goal, Mizzou spreads it out and throws it. Martin Rucker's in, and the Tigers are up 7.
That should go on all night long, shouldn't it, Reese? Back and forth with those 2 great offenses. Coffee.
Good response right here by Alabama. Power in the football. Again, if they can establish their running game, if they can force Auburn to play honest defensively, they can protect their quarterback, and they can get to their weapons, which I think one of their real weapons are their wide receivers. DJ Hall, Matt Caddell, Keith Brown. They could get some matchups against this Auburn secondary, but they must run the football first to open up their passing game.
3rd down, Coffee. Hitting the backfield, dives forward, he did not make it.
He was stoned right there outside the goal line.
Trey Blackman, the middle linebacker, got penetration. It's 4th down.
He is a big-time hitter. He's not overly big as a middle linebacker. 6 feet tall, 220 pounds, but when he hits you straight ahead, you go backwards. I mean, he does not slow down when he tackles.
What do you like here on 4th and a yard?
I like a timeout right now because I don't like all those faces turned over to the side. I think you got to go a little play action here with John Parker Wilson. I don't think you're going to run this thing in against Auburn from here.
They're stacked up in a tight formation. John Parker Wilson on a quick count. No signal of any kind. Auburn saying they didn't make it. Touchdown.
Oh, my gosh. What a late call. John Parker Wilson just kept fighting and squirming, and Eric Brock, number 33, was trying to push push him back. But credit John Parker Wilson. He just kept moving. Watch. He's going to kind of bobble the snap, but watch. He stopped right there. But he just keeps driving and pushing and shoving. He's still moving his feet and his legs. And by the time the line judge gets over there, he calls it a touchdown. Wow.
Well, they don't like it here, but they're loving it in other parts of the state of Alabama. Now, they're going to review this, and there's no way they can review this. They can look at this
I don't know how
until
the
videotape wears out. Well, John Parker Wilson is number 14. You can just see the back of his jersey. Now, here come the linesmen. The umpire is right in front of the play. He's got the best view of the whole thing.
See, I thought I saw John Parker Wilson's head over the plane of the end zone, but I didn't see the ball.
Well, they see it halfway around the world. They make a better call.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's kind of dangerous going on a quick count down at the goal line, too. And they got enough of a push. They ran behind B.J. Stabler, the right guard.
Well, I don't know how you could possibly overturn this. What are you going to see?
No, there's no way. You can't do. Every shot we looked at, you couldn't see the ball.
No.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
So Alabama with a huge drive to get back in this game, and a huge play on 4th and 1. They get it in. A sly smile on the face of Tommy Tuberville.
And remember the snap. He barely got the snap clean, and then just kept pushing and shoving. And
Tiffin with the point after. Alabama closes within a field goal. Second quarter at Auburn.
They've stormed beaches and freed countries. They've raised our flag and our hope. They've been called leathernecks. They've been called devil dogs. But above all, they're called Marines.
Love is like candy on a shelf. You want to taste and help yourself. The sweetest things are there for you. Help yourself, take a few. That's what I want you to do. Just help yourself.
Treat yourself to the rich, decadent taste of Diet Dr. Pepper. There's nothing diet about it.
Hey, taxi.
Merci.
More bars in more places. That's what you can expect from the new AT&T, the largest digital voice and data network in America, and more global coverage than any U.S. carrier. So switch to the network you can trust. AT&T, your world delivered. Now get 50% off all Samsung phones like the A737.
College football, play-by-play from every major conference. XM. Get 3 months free when you activate an XM radio by December 31st. Are you on?
How far was Auburn's touchdown?
That 1971 game marked the only time these two great programs ever faced each other when they were undefeated and untied. And here are the longest streaks in the Iron Bowl series. Alabama with Bear Bryant won 9 in a row. Auburn has twice won 5 in a row, including the current streak If they get the win tonight, it would be 6 in a row for Tommy Tuberville, and that would be #1 all-time for the Tigers.
Yeah, that 9-in-a-row streak from Alabama was broken 25 years ago in 1982, the Bo Jackson over-the-top game.
Mario Fannin on the return for Auburn. Stumbles across the 20. Let's go to Holly.
Well, guys, believe it or not, there is a group of people who have been to every single Iron Bowl since it was resumed back in 1948. One of them, Alabama fan Dick Coffey. He is attending tonight his 712th consecutive Alabama football game. Earlier this year, we talked to him before the Arkansas game, and he'd actually had to go to the hospital and have his heart shocked to get the defibrillator going. That wasn't going to stop him. He got right back in, came in, went to the game, and hasn't missed one since, guys. That's like 60 years of football.
Great.
You haven't missed it.
That's great. Come on, I need a new battery for my defibrillator so I can go to the game. Ben Tate with a nice run out near midfield, 28 yards. That'll get your heart started.
Well, Tommy Trott, #5, is doing a great job blocking. The tight end just turns his man out, opens up a nice seam for Ben Tate, and a loss of contain by the Alabama defense on the perimeter. Bad leverage by the Alabama defense, but credit Tommy Trott with a huge block on the edge.
Both of these teams want to run the football, and they both need to. Draw play, Tate again. Mustin was there along with McClain. Here's Reese.
All right, Mike, Missouri and Kansas again on ABC. Border showdown. Todd Reesing had Kansas on the move, down 7-0, firing it to Kerry Meyer. Backup quarterback and part-time wide receiver for the Jayhawks. And now Reesing firing into the end zone, and a terrific interception by William Moore snuffs out the threat. Missouri still leading by 7.
All right, Todd, one of those teams will be first or second in the nation by the time the evening is over. West Virginia should occupy the other spot. Hawthorne caught it out of bounds.
And he was beat. He beat Kareem Jackson. But Brandon Cox just a little bit too much to the sideline, and Hawthorne not able to come down with a foot in bounds. He had a step on Jackson. Ball thrown too wide. And there you see the foot in the orange out of play.
6'3", 209, an inviting target. And there is a flag down on the play near the 40-yard line.
Against the Alabama bench, that is their first warning.
Well, I don't know who next get-back coach is, but he's got to get him working over there.
Third down, Auburn has not been very good. And you find most teams that need to run the ball are not very good on 3rd and long. They're 0 for 2 tonight. Alabama shows blitz. But only come with 4. Cox with room, goes to Tate. Tate's got the first down and more. 35, 30-yard line. First down, Tigers. Lionel Mitchell made the tackle.
Really nice job by Brandon Cox. Not known as a scrambler, not really a running threat, but you don't have to be an effective quarterback. You do have to be able to buy yourself time. And that's what Brandon Cox does here. There's a free rusher. He eludes that and then just flicks it out to his safety valve, Tate, who gets the first down. Keep your vision downfield, scramble to buy time, and then make a play.
Tate again. 3 yards and then push back. Let's go to Holly.
Hey, guys. Brandon Cox is the Auburn quarterback, but he actually grew up just about 60 miles away from Tuskegee. Tuscaloosa. He grew up a huge Alabama fan, and he had a terrific high school career, but the regime at that time, Dennis Franchione, just wasn't interested. His dad has told us, you know, he got passed over, but this makes it all the more sweet for the success he's had here at Auburn. He's 25-9, but more importantly, a win tonight, he could become just one of 2 quarterbacks to ever beat Alabama 3 times. Pretty good for a kid from Trussville.
Yeah, I tell you what, you can live with that for the rest of your life in these parts. He won 3 in a row in this series. Cox, who's been very cool this time, didn't have a chance. Lorenzo Washington came up the middle. Cox couldn't avoid him this time.
Now that time Alabama confused the young offensive line for Auburn. Brandon Cox tried to check protections before the play, but Washington right up the middle. Again, that's the worst place you want pressure if you're a quarterback. And for Alabama now, their 17th sack in the last 7 ball games. They only had 5 in the first 5 games. They've really turned up the pressure on the quarterback over the last half of the season.
3rd and very long. From here, it would be a 52-53-yard field goal try. So they'd like to get at least part of that back. Blitz coming.
Simeon Castile. He didn't see Simeon Castile coming until the very end, and fortunately, he ducked, or else he might have lost his head.
Boy, fortunately is right.
Woo! Simeon Castile coming on the corner blitz. Here he is. He's just going to get right in here, and Brandon Cox is not going to see him. He's looking at pressure inside and has no idea number 2's coming around the outside till the very end, and very lucky that he ducked.
Well, he would have been dehorned. 2 plays cost him 19 yards on that series, and they will punt it away.
Well, that's a great defensive stand by Alabama right there. After a couple big plays, the big run by Tate, back-to-back sacks, and they get the ball back.
Shoemaker tried a pooch kick, only got it 21 yards downfield.
ESPN Shop has gifts from every major sport and league. Go to ESPNShop.com.
What if we took a moment to rethink our priorities? What if we rethink power and what it means to be strong? What if we rethink beauty and what it means to truly interact? At Saturn, we chose to rethink things, starting with every car we sell. With 5 totally new models and a 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. We may just be a car company, but we're rethinking what a car company can be. Just something to rethink about.
The next time you want a clean, comfortable shave, change heads.
Wow. There's a good-looking face.
Hey, guys. Introducing the Remington Clean Exchange, the only electric shaver featuring a disposable head you never have to clean, and 2 nano silver foils that reduce irritation. The Remington Clean Exchange.
Honey.
Want a better shave? Change heads. Clean Exchange from Remington. First name in shaving.
Welcome back to the Capital One Mascot Open.
Zippy from the fairway.
Will he lay up here?
No, looks like he's going flag hunting.
Flag hunting?
It's a metaphor, Nick.
That's going to leave a contusion. Brilliant course management.
Vote for the nation's #1 mascot at CapitalOneBowl.com.
Watch the Capital One Bowl to see who wins.
What's in your wallet?
Hearty taste, naturally nutritious. Planters, instinctively good.
ESPN's College Football Primetime, brought to you by Saturn. With 5 totally new models, it's just something to rethink about. Saturn. And Clean Exchange, the only electric shaver with a disposable head. Clean Exchange, new from Remington.
These great aerial shots tonight, courtesy of our friends at Outback Steakhouse. Travel throughout the country for sporting events all year.
Roy Upchurch is now the new tailback for Alabama, giving Glenn Coffey a break.
With Coffey out, he and Lowe got a lot of playing time. And John Parker Wilson wants to throw on first down. and it's dropped by his tight end, Nick Walker. We talked earlier about your rivalries. What are your top 5? Who do you like?
Well, I'll tell you, I start with Georgia, Florida, which is a game I did many years. It has a bowl atmosphere, both sides with equal tickets. Oklahoma, Texas, the same way. Ohio State, Michigan, the great traditional rivalry in the Northeast. And then Alabama, Auburn. This rivalry, I think, is terrific. The best one to me, Army-Navy, is spectacular. The march on by both military groups is phenomenal to be a part of.
I thought you had a great suggestion when we were talking about it earlier today, that it should be separate and apart from all the other games. It ought to be played on a separate weekend because it gets lost in the shuffle anymore.
You know, it used to be there were no conference championship games. There was no championship Saturday, and the Army-Navy game was that last game and deserved to have that kind of stage. It doesn't have it anymore. I think it should.
And when it meant something, when they were both good, there wasn't anything like that. 3rd and about 5. Blitz coming. John Parker Wilson hangs in there and throws too high for Hall. He was over the middle but was surrounded by Auburn defenders.
Got a little antsy that time. John Parker Wilson was backpedaling. He didn't have to. Again, with the offensive line suspensions, their protection has been a little shaky the last few weeks. And the quarterback sometimes loses his trust in that protection. That's what that looked like right there. John Parker didn't think he was going to be protected. Backpedaled and kind of hurried that throw.
Did you ever lose your trust?
Yeah, it happens.
How about teeth?
No. Lost some skin on my chin. But
wow. A lot of pressure. They run into him. There's a flag.
Yeah.
Now, is it running into or roughing? It's about 5 yards.
I think that's roughing. That's personal foul. I mean, they drilled him.
Mario Fannin looked to be the first guy there. Had a lot of company.
Yeah. Well, we've seen a couple Auburn penalties really bail Alabama out. The pass interference kept a drive going.
Yep.
And now this one is going to give Alabama the football back. I mean, they were in there in good position.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker on the defense. 15-yard penalty,
and when you rush the punter, that's Eddie Grand, the special teams coach. You go for a spot where the ball's coming off the foot, not for the kicker himself. They come up the middle, and they just hit the leg of the punter.
It was Mario Fannin.
Yeah.
His chest will hit the foot of Fitzgerald, and Fitzgerald does what punters do. He goes down like he was hit with a truck. Draw play, Upchurch. Well, that's a hard run, straight ahead. Ran over Bo Harris, who hung on to make the tackle.
Talking to some of the Alabama coaches, Major Applewhite down on the field before the game, they really felt like if we can run the football and force Auburn to bring one of those safeties up to the line of scrimmage, then we can have an advantage throwing the football, because they do a great job of disguising their coverages all out of a two-safety look. There's Major right there, youngest coordinator in college football at age 29.
Upchurch very close to the sticks. Chris Evans on the tackle.
I think Alabama has settled into this game. I think early on they did not look settled. Auburn went right down the field on their opening possession and scored. Alabama looked a little confused, a little tired, but they've got a new energy, and they look settled into the football game right now.
Let's check in with Holly.
Guys, just something interesting to note. We've seen a steady dose of Roy Upchurch and Glenn Coffey at running back for Alabama tonight. Now, Terry Grant, who's been their record-setting freshman, he's over on the sideline. He's just been kind of standing on the bench, standing without his helmet at times. He doesn't look heavily involved in the game plan right now, like he's imminently coming in. They didn't tell us before the game that he couldn't play, but they've just told us he's very banged up. But, guys, interesting that they don't have their really great punch at running back right now.
Well, how much of that, Holly, is him being banged up? How much of it is having Glenn Coffey back from that suspension for the receipt of textbooks that he wasn't supposed to get? This is about an inch on third down.
Well, the quarterback sneak for the touchdown. I'd say do the same thing for this.
And they appear to have it. Let's go to Reese, Kansas, Missouri.
And Mike, Missouri continues to move the ball very well against Kansas. Chase Daniel, again, for the second time tonight on a touchdown drive. Daniel buying some time, going all fluty on the people. Or maybe that's more Blackledge-esque with the nimble feet. Denario Alexander with a touchdown catch. Mizzou up 14-0.
All right, thank you, Reese. You don't hear Blackledge-esque connected to the running game very often, do you?
Or nimble feet. Oxymoron.
John Parker Wilson down the middle to his tight end who caught it and fumbled it. Nick Walker got it back. Are they going to say it's incomplete?
This is a beautiful throw. Nick Walker, the tight end. Again, those two deep safeties. One of the weaknesses, if they play cover two, is down the middle. Here's Walker. He's going to work right down there, and the play-action pass holds those linebackers in. They respect the run. Walker gets behind him, and John Parker Wilson puts the ball right there.
Boy, that's close.
Yeah, it's going to get looked at.
Brock comes up from one of those safety spots and nailed him. Well, there is some question of whether the ball stayed on his foot. Remember, in college football, if the ball touches the ground, whether the player has control of it or not.
Yeah, did it hit the ground or his foot? It's on his foot right there. I don't think that ball ever hit the ground. And Nick Walker secures it. Major Applewhite's right next to us banging on the glass. He's upset. But I think they're going to keep this one because I don't think the ball ever hit the ground.
Oh, how about that?
That was Pele-esque. Speaking of nimble feet. That was a big-time play. Throwing it down the field, play action. Again, your running game sets up play action. Linebackers have to respect the run. If you're running with some success, that opens up some things.
They're going to tell the referee the ball stayed on his foot, and he's going to say it stayed on his what? Some catch by Nick Walker.
I think if that would have hit the ground, they would have overruled this and called it incomplete.
I do too.
But I think because of that shot and the shot that we had of that being on his foot, I think it's going to stay a catch. The hit by Brock right as he comes down, ball to the foot, never touched the ground.
It's like a running back trying to score at the goal line, and he's on top of another body, not down till it's down.
The ruling on the field stands. It was a catch.
So a huge play by Walker there to concentrate that much and go get the ball off the top of his shoe. 4:56 and counting first half. Alabama is driving down by 3. Upchurch remains in as the tailback. He'll get the carry and picks up maybe 2. Blackman, the middle linebacker, looking to the sideline for the defensive call they want on 2nd and 8. Empty backfield. Turns into 4 wide receivers. Blitz on John Parker Wilson, and down they go. Eric Brock came in to mess up the timing on the play. Brock couldn't make the tackle, but he set it up.
Well, and again, I think Antoine Caldwell, Brock's going to come from here. Watch Antoine Caldwell get lost in here at right tackle. I think he's still kind of uncomfortable where he's supposed to be. He goes all the way inside, and nobody stays outside for the outside rusher. It was not a full-blown blitz. It was a zone blitz, and somebody should have picked up Eric Brock.
Pat Sims gets credit for the tackle and the sack. He has 1.5 on the night. He only had 2 all year coming in. 3rd and a mile. Upchurch on the draw. Very, very conservative call, but it gets them back in good territory for a field goal try. Nick Saban talking to his quarterback.
I think Joe Pendry, the offensive line coach for Alabama, who is an excellent line coach, has been in coaching for over 40 years. He's going to have to sit down with Antoine Caldwell at halftime and just get him settled down a little bit.
44-yard try for Tiffin. Plenty of leg, but it's wide. Tiffin had made 9 in a row before last week when he had one blocked. That one with the win from 44 yards wide left. And Alabama can't convert on that drive. They're still down by 3.
Sports Authority, dedicated to the dedicated.
There's a bit of the bigger is better mentality in all of us. But what if we stopped saying make it bigger and started saying make it smarter? Introducing the Saturn Outlook crossover. With seating for 8, it's big. And with an EPA estimated 24 miles per gallon highway, it's also smart. Instead of supersized, maybe it's time for super right-sized. Just something to rethink about.
Yeah, 3 toasted subs, 2 meatball, and 1 chicken parmesan.
Oh, yes. A chicken on Meatball Island adrift in an ocean of decadent marinara sauce topped with
milk. Right. Please pull forward.
Drive through for our new chicken parmesan and meatball toasted subs with melted mozzarella and marinara served fresh on toasted ciabatta bread. Also try our new cheesecake poppers. One bite will have you saying, I'm thinking Arby's.
Life comes at you fast, but with nationwide Blue Ribbon Claim Services, you don't have to worry. That's why 9 out of 10 people who filed a claim with us recommend Nationwide.
Nationwide is on your side.
The most exciting football in America is high school football.
Nobody beats us.
We've got to get the first down.
Starting November 29th on ESPN2, high school football is all business. Varsity.
Keep your focus on the field.
That's from the same group that brought you that series about Hoover, Alabama, and that powerhouse high school program called Two-A-Days. Auburn, after dodging the bullet on the field goal try, will take over at its own 27. Lester back in at tailback. Gets a couple. That's about it. Here is tonight's Aflac trivia question. Who is the only Auburn starting quarterback to beat Alabama 3 times? 3 times.
Well, Brandon Cox has won twice, and he's hoping to become the second one to do that. Could it be that guy on number 7, Pat Sullivan?
Could be. Won just about everything, including the Heisman Trophy. Lester again.
You know, Brandon Cox, it's interesting because last year in the game against Alabama, he was numbers-wise not very good. 6 of 14, 137 yards. He had a couple of interceptions, but he did throw a 23-yard touchdown pass that gave Alabama the lead for good. They ended up winning the game 22-15.
You mean Auburn?
Auburn, yes, thank you. And he said, you know, it was one of the career highlights was that touchdown pass last year against Alabama.
Nobody on this roster has lost to the Crimson Tide. And it's remarkable in this series that anybody can make that kind of statement. Cox, excellent protection. And it's intercepted. Picked off by McClain, the linebacker, and Cox is down. 24-yard return.
McClain came from his backside. He was not looking that direction. He was reading the left side of the field, and McClain came from the other side.
Cox was hit low as he threw. And this crowd is stunned. And it looked like he was hit from the side.
Take a look at the interception. Rolando McClain is the linebacker right here. Now he's going to drop in coverage, and Brandon Cox is going to be looking this way, and he's not going to see Rolando McClain drift in front of his intended receiver. He's reading left, 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 and when he lets go of the ball, he doesn't see McClain slip underneath. And then at the end of the play, after the ball's released, here's the hit he took. Right leg, knee, ankle, grabbing that right knee.
Just to look like he got a helmet on the right side of it.
Blake Field is the backup quarterback right now. A 6'2", 202-pound junior. If Brandon Cox unable to return, that's who we'll see. But a big-time turnover for Alabama. An excellent field position for John Parker Wilson with 50 seconds left in the half and all 3 timeouts. So no time to panic for Alabama with all 3 of those timeouts.
Can they take advantage? Glenn Coffey is the tailback. Wilson throws underneath and got it to his backup tight end Travis McCall, but he can't go anywhere because Blackman is there.
See, now, that's a play John Parker Wilson needs to throw away. I mean, if you're not going to get the ball down the field, don't make that completion. Throw it out of bounds, stop the clock, and then go back in the huddle and call a different play.
Check in with Reese.
All right, guys, coming up on the Pontiac Performance Halftime Report, we'll show you what happens when 3 overtimes not quite enough. Tim Tebow continues to rack up unbelievable numbers. We'll show you the latest from the Gators quarterback in their rivalry game against Florida State. And the latest on the border showdown, Missouri and Kansas winner trying to get to the Big 12 championship game. Lou and Mark are alongside. We'll see you guys in just a bit.
All right, Reese, we have 37 seconds to go in the half here. Alabama already within field goal range. The question for Auburn right now, what about Brandon Cox?
Well, the good news is they're 37 seconds away from halftime, so they'll have an extended period of time to evaluate and check him out before they may have to make that decision.
He's up. John Parker Wilson flushed out of the pocket on the run, throws. And the tight end down at the 11-yard line, Nick Walker, gang tackled there with 24 seconds to go, and they call a timeout. We'll be back to Auburn in just a moment.
What is Crimson? Crimson is USA Today's #1 academic All-America team. It's a record number of National Merit Scholars, where America's best and brightest are mentored by the best and brightest. It's the pride of Alabama's flagship university. Crimson is the University of Alabama.
I believe that this is a practical world and that I can count only on what I earn.
Therefore, I believe in work, hard work.
I believe in honesty and truthfulness.
I believe in a sound mind and a sound body and a spirit that is not afraid.
I believe in obedience to law because it protects the rights of all.
I believe in my country because it is a land of freedom.
And because Auburn men and women believe in these things.
John Parker Wilson will throw for the end zone. Hall tipped it up in the air, and it's intercepted by Gerard Powers. Trying to get Hall in the game, and John Parker Wilson threw what looked like a great pass, and it looked like Hall had it.
Hall had no catches before then. It is a good pass. He took his eyes off of it at the last minute. He didn't secure the catch, and Gerard Powers just kept fighting for the football. Looked like he had it. He didn't secure it, and Gerard Powers with an outstanding interception. But that ball should have been caught for a touchdown by Alabama.
Powers had enough of a fingertip in between the hands of Hall to tip the ball in the air. Got his 4th interception of the year, probably the biggest one of his career.
Against Auburn's bench, that is their first one.
All right, here's the answer to tonight's trivia question. Who's the only Auburn starting quarterback to beat Alabama 3 times? The answer, easier than you might think. You just have to go back a couple of years because it's Jason Campbell. If you'd been paying attention, we told you 5 years in a row they have won. So logically, you didn't have to go back too far. Here's Holly.
Guys, the initial examination on Brandon Cox looks positive. They let him get up. He's stretching his knee on the sideline. Usually, if they feel a torn ligament after that test, they do not allow him to do that. They'll reevaluate him at the half, guys.
Well, they send him back out here to take a knee. So they have to be pretty well convinced that he's all right. Auburn takes a knee, and they will take a 3-point lead into the locker room.
Alabama down there twice. 1 missed field goal and 1 interception. Down 3.
Here's Holly.
Coach, initially your defense looked like they had John Parker Wilson stopped on a touchdown, but they gave it to him. What did you think?
Well, they guessed it making the call down there. That wasn't a very good call, I didn't think. But, you know, the replay can't – we don't have a shot on the goal line. But, you know, that's part of it. We got to play better on offense. We kind of shut it down after the first quarter. We got to do a better job second half.
How did you shut it down?
Well, they made plays, and we didn't. You know, they started blitzing from the corners, and we didn't protect very well. We gave up a couple sacks, so we got to do a little bit better in protection this half.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Holly. Our halftime score is Auburn 10, Alabama. And Reese Davis for the Pontiac Performance halftime report.
All right, Mike, never short on intensity between Alabama and Auburn. Glad to have you with us. And plenty of intensity in the border showdown for the Big 12 North title between Missouri and Kansas. There's Chase Daniel, who's thrown 30 touchdown passes on the year coming into the season. Daniel, do I hear 31? Martin Rucker going in, 7-0 Mizzou. Mark, what about this spectacular interception in the end zone by William Moore?
Does a great job of getting his body in front of the receiver and reading the quarterback, reaching out, stretches out, gets the interception for Missouri.
That was Todd Reesing's first pick in 213 attempts. And then Daniel to Denario Alexander, Lou.
The quarterback's always going to scramble to his right when he's in trouble. Here he comes when he's there. Receivers go deep or come up. Right there, great play. Made possible because he broke containment.
Deep receivers come up, short receivers go deep.
That's it. That's it. When that's the rule, quarterback scramble.
It's a windy night in Kansas City, and Scott Webb goes postal on the 33-yard field goal attempt in Kansas. The Fighting Manginos still held off the board, and Webb trying it a second time, and oh boy, it looked as if the wind just grabbed that when he yanked it left. 45-yard attempt, and Kansas still unable to get into the end zone. This Kansas team, second in the nation in scoring this year, and Missouri has shut them out. Just a minute and 13 seconds to go before halftime in Arrowhead Stadium. That game is on ABC. Big East Championship game de facto between West Virginia and UConn. Winner would represent the conference in the BCS. Steve Slayton going 31 yards, Luke.
Oh, just a fine block and play there. They just have so much weapons there at the skill position.
Hey, they rushed for over 400 yards in the second half, Mark. Are they number 1 in the nation when your poll comes out?
Yes, they are. In my book, they're number 1, and they're the favorite to win the national championship.
66 points West Virginia put on UConn. They still have the backyard brawl, but they are going to go to a BCS game, maybe the BCS game. We'll sort everything out for you. You've seen Pat White put on a big-time show. Georgia had an in-state battle against Georgia Tech, and Tennessee had to work overtime and then some to try to get to the SEC title, and more Tebow.
The Pontiac Performance Halftime Report is powered by Pontiac, the official performance machines of the NCAA.
What if there was a way to know which one's the sweetest? Which one will make the best impression? Or which one will be the most loyal? What if you could tell at a glance which one's the real value? At Saturn, just look for the red tag and you'll know. Find great deals on the Saturn you've always wanted, but hurry before the car that's meant for you is gone. Now get 0 for 60 for well-qualified buyers on all 2007s. The year-end red tag event from Saturn.
What kind of question is that? I'm telling you, the Eastern Conference is actually not a JV league. Anybody can come out the East. The West is not dominant anymore, man. There's parity in the NBA right now. You look at Boston, Chicago, Detroit, Orlando, New Jersey, Cleveland, the New York Knicks. We all know there's power in the West, but you got to pay attention now to the East too, Mello.
I'm just talking about the exit, man. East or West?
Oh.
ESPN, your NBA destination for games Wednesdays and Fridays, plus in-depth analysis all week.
The Shell experts wanted to prove how easy it is to earn Shell gasoline rebates with the Shell Platinum MasterCard. It's pretty easy. With the new Shell Platinum MasterCard, you earn 5% rebates on all Shell gasoline purchases. Plus, now earn 5% rebates for 60 days on your first $2,000 in purchases everywhere else. Apply by December 31st, 2007. See your nearest Shell station or call 1-877-MY-SHELL.
This holiday season, I wish someone would get me this awesome Dell XPS notebook with Windows Vista Ultimate for my photos, music. It's got...
Excuse me, I can't hear you because you're not famous. You need star power.
At yoursishere.com, our stars are waiting to sell your friends and family on getting you the Dell computer you've been wishing for.
If you're a nobody, get us somebody to help you get the Dell computer you want at yoursishere.com.
You're watching the Pontiac Performance Halftime Report.
Auburn and Alabama, an intense battle in the first half. Brandon Cox picked off by Rolando McClain, the freshman, but the Tide had the deflective interception in the end zone and didn't cash in. 3-point game at the break. You know, in the last 3 football seasons, the 3 longest streaks, one opponent dominating another with consecutive victories, all come to an end. Among those streaks, Tennessee's run over Vanderbilt, which ended at 22 in a row. Longest one active going into the day, Tennessee over Kentucky at 22 in a row. And the Volunteers had to win this game in order to go to the SEC championship game. Double overtime. Eric Ainge picked off by Sam Maxwell. Now Kentucky has a shot. They had the ball second in the second overtime. And Lona Sieber from Knoxville, Tennessee, the kicker, gets it blocked. Eric Berry would eventually be dragged down by his face mask. Kentucky could have cared less about the penalty. They had to keep him out of the end zone. And when it was made on the change of possession, we would play on and play into the third overtime. Now, Tennessee scored a touchdown in the third overtime. The third OT, after we see the official making the call and explaining everything, you have to go for 2. This is for the win, and Arian Foster is cut down. Now, Foster was called for unsportsmanlike conduct for throwing the ball in disgust. 15-yard penalty, meaning Tennessee had to start in quadruple overtime from the 40 instead of the 25. That just gave Eric Ainge some more stats, Mark.
No problem. Quentin Hancock's wide open. Where are the defenders? Catches the ball, takes it in with a 40-yard touchdown.
Now, after a Kentucky touchdown, Cats had to score on the 2 to force it to another overtime. Ball's a little bit nervous. What did you think on this play, Lou? Did you think Woodson had a chance to run with it?
Well, he did, but you have to make a decision there. You have to make a decision, and he's waiting for the receiver. He's just sort of standing there to either go to the back of the end zone and then come up. but neither one made a decision.
4 overtimes it took, but the big fella, Phil Fulmer, is headed to the SEC championship game after the hairy victory over Kentucky, 52-50. So the Vols are in for the 5th time. They're 2-2 there. They face LSU, a team that denied them perhaps a run for the national title in 2001. Tennessee has dominated the series. That's in Atlanta next Saturday at 4 o'clock Eastern time. Georgia, because of that Tennessee victory, they'll just have to settle for it being a likely BCS at-large team against Georgia Tech. Matthew Stafford, Muhammad Massaquoi, touchdown, Dogs go on top, and then Thomas Brown would put it away in May Day by plenty.
And look at the blocking on the right side. Kick out, block down, and he's off to the races. Nobody's going to catch him. Great execution by the offense.
Brown went for $139 in the Georgia 2-touchdown win. More Tebow. That's what the kids say. More Tebow. It's 3-0 Florida State. If you're going to tackle Tebow, you better get a hold of him. Tebow came into the game with 20 rushing touchdowns, just 2 shy of the quarterback record in what we used to call 1A, held by Chance Harridge. It was his first one. He'd get another one. Gary Sismation, this was a highlight for FSU, a 60-yard field goal.
He's still not getting it home sticker.
Well, they lost. They lost badly, but it was a great kick. There is the record-tying touchdown and the Pontiac game-changing nominee, the thing that really broke the thing open. And then Percy Harvin showing Tebow's not the only guy who can run loose.
Oh, he is just a tremendous young man. Great talent as a runner and as a pass receiver. 4
straight wins for the Gators over the Seminoles, fueled largely by Tebow. Last week, he became the first player in major college football history, 2020 guy, rushing and passing touchdowns. 22 touchdowns on the ground. That ties him with Air Force's Chance Harridge for the most ever in a single season. And he's run for 1 and throw for 1 in 13 straight games. He's a joke. He's sick, as the kids say.
Welcome to the new shape of fast. Introducing the new Pontiac G6 GXP Street Edition. Pontiac, designed for action.
How it happened that those various individuals happened to end up in E Company, I don't know. Every Army unit thinks it's the best. But we knew we were the best.
All right, freight. Well, you already love the reliability of the big brown truck, but let's say you're shipping something really big, or pallets of lots of little things. Now, wouldn't it be great if you could send any size shipment with the reliability and tracking you're used to with UPS? Hey, look, now you can. It's not just freight, it's UPS freight. Throw some mud flaps on here.
Bart Starr wasn't even drafted until the 17th round in 1956. But Vince Lombardi recognized Starr's potential. Potential is what Starr sees in the at-risk young men who enter Rawhide Boys Ranch, a youth training program he co-founded in 1965. With his encouragement, almost 3,000 young men have graduated to more productive lives. The SEC, the story of character.
Monday, the Dolphins head to Steeltown as Big Ben, Willie Parker, and the intimidating Steelers D look to iron out a victory. ESPN Monday Night Football. Dolphins Steelers at 8:30.
This week on Sunday NFL Countdown, what keeps the 10-0 Patriots from getting too full of themselves? Frequent servings of humble pie. And just how close was Michael Strahan to retirement before returning to anchor the G-Men's defensive line? We go one-on-one with the Giants sackmaster. It's all on Sunday NFL Countdown, 11 a.m. Eastern. Now to the Monday Night Booth and Mike Tirico.
Chris, thanks. The big news around the Steeler-Dolphin game is the former Heisman Trophy winner, Ricky Williams, who was suspended by the NFL for violating the league drug policy, been out of football for quite some time, reinstated last week, practiced this week. Because of injuries, Ron, we may see him on Monday night against Pittsburgh. What could we expect?
I expect very little out of Ricky Williams. He hasn't played in a National Football League game in 22 months. He's been practicing with the Miami Dolphins for about a week. John Beck, the quarterback for the Dolphins, now is getting his second start in the National Football League against a very complex and sophisticated Steeler defense. With Ricky Williams in the backfield, I'd be concerned about his blocking as well.
Not the concerns Ben Roethlisberger of the Steelers has.
Absolutely not. Last year, Ben Roethlisberger had a famous motorcycle accident, had an appendectomy, had a concussion, and had a terrible year. Threw 23 interceptions, the worst number in the entire league. This year, same guy, better health, actually a different guy. 23 touchdown passes already, only 8 interceptions. He's the main reason on the field the Steelers are competitive as they were not last year.
7-3, trying to bounce back from a loss to the Jets on Monday night.
Dolphins and Steelers, I could have sworn with all that purple the Vikings were playing. Purple people eaters in the booth. How about that for a wrestling look? Virginia Tech and Virginia winner going to the ACC Championship game. Sean Glennon to Eddie Royal, Pontiac game-changing nominee. Glennon threw for 260 yards in the touchdown. Virginia Tech alum Bruce Smith honored. So too was Virginia alum Kiki Barber. The other quarterback, Tyrod Taylor, rushed for 2 touchdowns.
Well, he has great feet. And what Virginia Tech does, they utilize the quarterback's talent. They said, even if you make a bad play, we are going to change quarterback.
Bruce pleased, hokey high, going to the ACC Championship game. BC beat Miami. It wasn't necessary for them to do that, to go to the title game. Coach Jags in his first year off to try to win the championship against Virginia Tech. Clemson and South Carolina on ESPN2. Tigers just missing out on the ACC title game. They're up by 6 against their in-state rivals. Remember, South Carolina very likely going to miss a bowl if they can't figure out how to win that game. Oklahoma and Oklahoma State in Bedlam. Sam Bradford, Joe John Finley, and with that touchdown pass, Bradford set a single-season record for freshmen with his 30th touchdown pass. He would wind up with 32, throwing 4 on the day against the Pokes. This one to Finley again, 49-17. Oklahoma's going to the Big 12 championship game, play the winner of Missouri and Kansas. Had a couple coaches fired on Saturday. Bill Callahan, Nebraska, gone. Ed Ogeron, Ole Miss, out. So those are the vacancies at the moment. More to come as the dominoes start to fall.
Hearty taste, naturally nutritious. Planters, instinctively good.
So I asked my dad where he wanted to go for his 60th birthday. Norway, he said, the land of our ancestors. We drank a pint at Ibsen's favorite pub. We sampled the local fare. We got new sweaters.
I feel like yodeling.
It was the trip of a lifetime, Dad said, until we went to the Hall of Records and discovered we were actually Swedish. 2 tickets to Stockholm, please.
Whatever your story is, your Citi card can help you write it. Citi, let's get it done.
Everything should work as well as the Stanley Tripod Flashlight, now 10 times brighter with adjustable beam.
Half-price drinks taste even better than regular price drinks.
I know.
You know?
I gotta say, I enjoy the concept of happy hour, but I feel like it's not accurate because it's from 2 to 4. It should be happy hours.
That just doesn't, that has no, like, pop to it, though.
A couple hours of drink fun.
Unsad, wet afternoon chunk.
Maybe happy hours.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like
that. That's better.
Happy hour at Sonic. Over 168,000 fountain drink and slush combinations, like our Cherry Limeade. Half price from 2 to 4 p.m. every day, because Sonic is your ultimate drink stop.
All the great plays that swung the tide of momentum coming up on college football final tonight after SportsCenter, which follows the game, probably looking 12:30 neighborhood or so. Nominees for the Pontiac game-changing performance, we ask you to vote. Go to ESPN.com, keyword Pontiac, vote for your favorite performance. We'll give